10 straight nights of U.S. strikes and Iran hits a tanker off Oman. Let that sink in. Trump is pounding the IRGC every single night, and the Ayatollah still lashes out at civilian shipping like a cornered terrorist thug. And wait until you hear what Trump said next. Quote, "We've been nice." Now, CENTCOM is reporting that 900 commercial vessels and 450 million barrels of crude moved safely since early May. Now, that number stopped me cold because this is the Strait of Hormuz. It's not some side skirmish. The Ayatollah's regime keeps trying to choke the whole artery. While fake news keeps pretending deterrence never works, Trump's forces are hammering Iranian command centers, air defenses, missile and drone launch sites, and even maritime capabilities. You watch the list and tell me this isn't how adults protect American troops, energy flows, and global commerce. And also breaking now, near record tungsten prices are intensifying pressure on Washington to secure the United States critical mineral supply chain as tungsten becomes a national security priority for fighter jets, tanks, missiles, drones, and ammunition. With no U.S. commercial tungsten mining since 2015, Project Vault backs a $12 billion strategic stockpile and $30 billion domestic production push, while the Pentagon directs millions towards restarting U.S. tungsten production. Vault Strategic Mining, trading as KNOX in Canada and KNXFF in the United States, is reviving historic tungsten assets right here in mining-friendly United States jurisdictions, including proven former mines in Nevada's Great Basin, which is a historically productive tungsten region. The site carries a Second World War defense-related exploration contract, approximately 10,000 feet of drilling, and a USGS estimate of roughly 168,000 tons of tungsten oxide with an estimated in-ground value of $30 to $50 billion. To find out more, check out the Next News intelligence briefing that's been prepared for you. You'll find it linked below. Now, Secretary Bessent said that China's Iranian crude purchases, they dropped by about 40%. That's the part the mullahs and their media helpers hate. Because Trump isn't just blasting launch sites. He's gutting Tehran's cash pipeline and its nerve at the same time. Now watch the receipts because the tweets get even nastier for Iran, especially with this newly declassified footage we're about to show you. We have this: U.S. forces struck Iran for the 10th straight night as an Iranian attack on a tanker off Oman forced the crew to evacuate, maritime groups have reported. Let's check in on this report.
Night of heavy U.S. strikes against Iran. This was the 10th consecutive night aimed at degrading Iran's ability to threaten the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. Central Command posted overnight about those strikes and their operations in the region, saying since early May, CENTCOM forces have helped facilitate the transit of approximately 900 commercial vessels and 450 million barrels of crude oil. They went on to say American forces remain postured and prepared to hold Iran accountable for unwarranted aggression towards civilian mariners seeking to freely and openly transit the strait. Early this morning, Iran attacked another tanker off the coast of Oman, forcing the crew to evacuate the vessel, according to maritime tracking groups. This does come after President Trump issued a new warning to the regime about killing American forces in the Middle East. The commander-in-chief said every time Iran kills an American soldier, they will pay for that killing many times over.
So that was night 10, with Tehran still targeting civilian shipping off Oman. Now, look at what CENTCOM says. U.S. forces hit next command centers, air defenses, and the missile and drone sites behind the regime's attacks. U.S. forces continue to strike after the regime killed multiple American service members during attacks over the weekend. The latest operation targeted command centers, air defense, missile drone launch sites, and maritime capabilities. Video. We'll have more on that in a little bit. That's from CENTCOM. So you saw the broader target list from CENTCOM. Here is the strike footage zeroing in on those Iranian command centers and launch sites. The declassified footage now made public. Wow. I'm curious as to why these weren't hit first. Like, why now? It seems like they should have just wiped out everything at one time. Not even let them have any capability. So the targeting feeds show the campaign is hitting the regime where it operates. Now we move to Shiraz, where open source intel says the IRGC's Tharallah base took a direct hit. Let's take a look at this. Some of the footage that's coming in from the Middle East right now, open source intel. So after the reported hit on the IRGC base, the pressure isn't only military. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says China's oil buys from Iran have dropped by nearly half, and that is hammering the mullahs. Announces they've dropped, and it's wreaking havoc. Let's check in with the Treasury Secretary.
Oil, the Chinese in general, because of the prices and because they have a very large strategic petroleum reserve, have dropped their purchases of crude over the past few months by about 40%, and that's directly pressuring the Iranian regime. And we put the blockade back, and I tell you, the blockade is powerful financially, but I think it's also very powerful psychologically. It cuts Iran off from the rest of the world, and we also had the ability to interdict the Iranian dark fleet once they are out in the Pacific.
Yeah, that's incredible. We're going to be watching all of that. Secretary, I want to move on to AI because, of course.
So there is the Treasury Secretary weighing in. The regime getting squeezed in the air and its wallet. Next, President Trump makes clear he's ready for another front, warning the Houthis that they try a Red Sea blockade, the U.S. will handle it. We covered this yesterday, the Houthis warning, and now the president reacting from the Oval Office.
Level of concern of a blockade of the Red Sea by the Houthi rebels, opening up another front in the war.
See what happens. So far, it hasn't happened. It might happen, but we take care of things. If something like that happens, we take care of it. We've done that with the Houthis before, and we haven't heard from them in a while since we did what we did originally. That was about 45 days of very powerful action we took against the Houthis. And we've had no problem with the Houthis. They've had no problem with us for a long period of time, including during this conflict. I think that if there is something like that, we'll just have to take care of business.
And Trump will take care of business. They're about to FAFO. Yeah, I want to see them try it. Their Navy will be at the bottom of the sea, like Iran's. So Trump's message was simple. Try it, and it gets shut down. Then he turned to the propaganda press and ripped ABC for pretending Iran isn't feeling the pain. President Trump nuking ABC's fake news, Mary Kay Bruce.
There are no signs that Iran is ready to stop fighting. So what is the plan? Is the plan to just keep bombing until they give up?
There are no signs. Why, do you know something that I don't know?
Well, they continue to attack our allies and kill Americans.
You don't know what the dialogue is behind the scenes, that they want to meet desperately to try and end it, because they're getting decimated. You don't get that when you listen to your fake station, but you don't know. You don't know anything.
So talks are
do you know
still
something
possible,
that I don't
likely?
know? Do you know something I don't know?
Well, tell us.
I will tell you. They want to desperately meet, and until they're ready to meet in a meaningful way, we have no interest in even.
So after torching ABC fake news, Trump's team lays out the doctrine even more plainly. Up next, the War Secretary says Iran has every chance to negotiate, and now U.S. forces are hitting them 10 times harder.
Something no president's been willing to do. 47 years, they build up a conventional capability like the North Koreans did. Remember, that's how North Korea made their way to a bomb. So much weaponry that no one was willing to stand up to them. President Trump was, and it continues to this day. Iran's been given every opportunity to negotiate, to show that they're reasonable on the Strait of Hormuz. But if they're going to shoot at commercial shipping, then we're going to hit them, as the president said, 10 times harder, which every night we're degrading them further and further. And the president has all the options necessary. If they want to talk, they can talk. Otherwise, they can deal with the War Department, and we're prepared to do that.
They can deal with the War Department. And that's the White House line. Negotiator get degraded night after night. Next, Trump raises the stakes again with a blunt warning on any Iranian effort to rebuild nuclear sites.
And we will absolutely attack. The new site that they're talking about. I mean, how about these people? They're in this because of nuclear weapons, and they're trying to possibly reconstitute a site. We'll hit that site. Any site where they're even thinking about nuclear, we'll be hitting it very, very powerfully. Now, nobody knows, except the Iranians, the damage that we've done to them. We have done damage that will take them 20, 25 years to recover from. So if we left tomorrow, we had a big success. But we're not leaving tomorrow.
We're not leaving. You heard Trump say any nuclear rebuild gets crushed, and he wasn't done. Next comes the line that says exactly how much restraint he thinks Washington has shown so far.
If we left today, it would take them decades to rebuild, and I don't believe they could ever rebuild. And honestly, they haven't seen anything yet. We've been nice. We've been nice.
We've been nice. So Trump says Iran hasn't seen the full force yet, and while that warning hangs over Tehran, CENTCOM shows the muscle behind it, with USS Mason operating in regional waters, conducting a replenishment at sea while sailing in regional waters.
Obviously, it was 25
Indicate 15 knots.
Indicate 13 knots.
You don't know anything. They want to desperately meet. Trump snapped at ABC's Mary Bruce after the 10th straight night of strikes, and that line lands even harder when you stack it next to the IRGC Tharallah base in Shiraz, the tanker crew forced to evacuate off Oman, and Trump's warning that any nuclear rebuild gets hit very, very powerfully. The Ayatollahs started this by murdering Americans, and now Trump is ripping the regime's war machine apart while fake news gets humiliated in real time. So the Ayatollah Khamenei, and well, he's no longer with us, but ABC, they owe the country an answer. How many more nights of humiliation do they need before they admit Trump's doctrine works? 10 straight nights, command centers hammered, air defenses busted, missile and drone launch sites scorched, the IRGC's base hit, and while Tehran attacks a tanker off Oman like a collapsing pirate state, CENTCOM keeps 900 commercial vessels and 450 million barrels of crude moving right along. That is American power back on the water where it belongs. So hit share, drop your take in the comments, and make every fake news clown who called strength escalation sit there and watch deterrence work. Iran killed American service members. Trump made the cost unbearable. Good. And if the mullahs even think about rebuilding a nuclear site, he already told them what happens. The 10th straight night over Iran is exactly why you want our inside track tonight. Text White House to 844-840-4963. Next News Network is credentialed inside the White House, and our nightly reports hit your phone straight from the press pool ahead of the crowd and past YouTube suppression.